Hey everybody, it is Chris. It is Wednesday, September the 11th, the day after the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. If you did not see it, just go watch my video on my channel. I'll give you a summary, and I'll give you the really short summary right now. Kamala Harris won. Okay, so I did a bunch of debate talk, but probably I don't know if it was the most interesting thing, but the thing that surprised me the most that happened on Tuesday night didn't have to do with the debate at all, although the eating your pets thing was weird. But it was what happened right after the debate that I think is probably a bigger story, certainly with my kids, who are 15 and 12, than the debate. And it's this. Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris. Now, here's what's interesting. I guarantee you, even if you didn't watch the debate, or even any of the debate, you know by now that Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris, which tells you a little something about society and what information we're most interested in, and gets me to a broader discussion about whether this matters or not. Okay, first of all, did I think Taylor Swift was going to endorse Donald Trump? No, I did not. I don't think that was in the mix. Taylor Swift endorsed Joe Biden in 2020. She's endorsed candidates for Senate in Tennessee in the past, Democrats. So clearly, if she was going to endorse, she was going to endorse Kamala Harris. I thought she might not endorse anyone just for purely business reasons. I always go back to, remember Michael Jordan in his heyday was asked why he didn't get into politics or be political at all. And he said, Republicans buy sneakers too, very famously / infamously. You know, there's an argument to be made like, well, Taylor Swift may have lost a few ticket sales because there are MAGA people who have kids who would go to Taylor Swift and now they won't. Whatever. I'm sure she's fine. But I thought maybe that would keep her away from endorsing. But no. So the question now is, does it matter? Right? It was not terribly surprising, although the timing I thought was interesting. I'm assuming that they had this in the can, sort of, that Taylor Swift had told the Harris people or Kamala Harris, I want to endorse you, and they were kind of timing it out. And so right after a good debate for her was a good moment to roll it out. At the same time, I saw an interview with Tim Walz, the vice presidential nominee, who said he didn't know about it and heard about it when someone told him on Tuesday night. So who knows? I tend to think these things are planned, but I could be wrong. Let me give you a few stats on Taylor Swift in politics. And I will admit, there has not been a huge amount of polling done about her. In Tennessee, they asked Tennessee registered voters. 37% of Tennessee registered voters said they were fans of Taylor Swift. I would have thought it had been higher, but okay. Of that group, of that 37%, basically 1 in 10 said if she endorsed a candidate for Senate or president, it would make them more likely to vote for that candidate. Okay, that's Tennessee. National polling. This is last year. 18% of people said it was more likely they would vote for a candidate endorsed by Swift. 17% said it was less likely they would endorse a candidate endorsed by Swift. 55% said her endorsement would make no difference. Okay, so basically a wash there. Does this matter? I'm going to give you what may seem like a couple contradictory facts first. Fact 1, Taylor Swift is the most famous person in the world. I think that's true. I guess Ronaldo or Messi maybe, but she's certainly in the top 5. Number 2, she has a massively loyal fan base that, yes, is a lot of young women, but is also lots of other people too, right? She's selling out concert after concert after concert. She has 380 million followers on Instagram, 280 million, lots more than I do. So those are 2 facts. The third fact, and like I said, this might seem a little contradictory, is celebrity endorsements almost never matter in politics. It's like, I think most people don't really like their athletes they look up to or the musicians whose music they listen to tell them who they should vote for. I think it might get you a headline like Oprah endorsed Kamala Harris, but I don't know that it changes a lot of votes. I think people who like Oprah, most of them are probably going to be for Kamala Harris anyway. Does that make sense? So a little bit contradictory there. Here's what I will say, and I think this is super important to always remember, whether we're talking about Taylor Swift or not. This election will almost certainly be extremely close, right? Right now we have 7 swing states, none of which either Harris or Trump is leading by an average of more than 3 points, several of which in polling averages are tied. In 2020, Joe Biden won Georgia by 11,000 votes, Arizona by like 12,000 votes, and Wisconsin by 20,000 votes, right? We're not talking about a huge number of votes here. And given that, I'm just not ready to say Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala Harris doesn't matter, because it doesn't have to. It's not going to affect millions of votes. It doesn't have to affect millions of votes. This is my whole thing. Anything can matter in an election that may well wind up being this close. Who's to say that 2,000 voters in Wisconsin don't vote for Kamala Harris because of Taylor Swift? Or more importantly, and I want to go a little deeper on this, who's to say that Taylor Swift's call in her endorsement to go register to vote and her push to register to vote doesn't get more people who are likelier to vote for Kamala Harris to register to vote? I think that's really important. So I went back and looked. So 18 to 29-year-olds, which I guess I would say is kind of right in right in the Taylor Swift base, and most likely for her to have an influence on to get them to register to vote, et cetera, et cetera. In 2020, 18 to 29-year-olds made up 17% of the overall vote. It was the smallest of any age cohort. They voted 60% Biden, 36% Trump, plus 24 for Biden. In 2016, 18 to 29-year-olds made up 19% of the vote, so slightly more. They voted Clinton 55, Trump 36, so plus 19. So Biden did better among young voters. If Harris gets just a little bump, right, from 19 to 24-point margin, if there's just a bigger number of young voters, 18 to 29-year-olds in the voter pool, those are almost certainly good things for Harris. It's consistently the best age cohort for Democrats. They perform best among 18 to 29-year-olds at the presidential level, and that's where Taylor Swift, at least in the voting public, probably has more influence among tweens than she does among 18 to 29-year-olds. But in the voting public, 18 to 29 is where her influence is. So does it matter? Anyone who tells you it doesn't matter at all, to me, isn't looking at the numbers, which says everything matters. In a super close election, every little bit helps. Kamala Harris would absolutely rather have Taylor Swift on her side rather than on the sidelines. All right, that is all for me for today. As always, do 4 things. 1, subscribe to my channel. Easy, just hit subscribe. 2, like this video. Again, easy, hit the thumbs up. 3, comment on this video. Hey, Chris, you look handsome today. Thanks. And number 4, tell 10 friends or 20 friends or 100 friends. We're almost at 40,000. We had huge growth after the debate last night. Let's keep it going, people.